Hi everyone. I just want to explain to you today about custom variables in PNBot because although PNBot has a pretty extensive list of variables to select from, there may be others that are important to your navigation program that have not been included. So to set that up, we would go to PNBot Setup. You don't need to do this. I'm just going to uncheck all variables here for demo purposes so that we don't have so many fields cluttering everything up, but you don't need to do that in your case. I'm going to scroll down to this section over here where it says optional. If the above lists are missing an important variable that your navigation program needs, you can create and add your own. Would you like to add any custom variables? I click yes to make sure this table is displayed. And this table is basically where you set up any custom variable that you want to add to PNBot. So first, before adding any variables, you need to know the level and the type of variable. So basically for level, you need to ask yourself, do I want to collect information about the patient or about the case or about each patient encounter? And then once you know that, the second question is what type of variable do I need? So do I want a text type variable where whoever's entering data can type in their answer? Or do I want a list type variable where the person entering data would need to select from a drop-down menu of options? Or a date type variable where they can enter a date or use a calendar widget. So you can add up to 6 variables to each level. So for example, I can add 6 patient variables, 2 text type, 2 list types, and 2 date types. And same for case and same for encounters. And I would set all that up here. So just to show you initially how things look, so for patient data entry, I've only selected my bare minimum fields here, so there's not a whole lot in here. And same for patient list. This is a pretty short little spreadsheet. However, if I were to add all 6 of my custom variables, which I don't actually want to do, but I just want to show you, I would check off these 6 boxes here where it says activate this custom variable in my setup sheet. These 6 options are checked off. So now when I go back to my patient data entry sheet and I scroll down, in addition to my bare bones fields, I see under custom variables these 6 that I selected. And again, when I go to the corresponding database, this patient list, suddenly I have these 6 columns that are now unhidden and ready for use. So you probably don't want your variables named patient list 1 or text 2 or anything like that. So back in the setup sheet, in addition to activating your variable, you would need to rename it to something that makes sense to you. So let's just give an example. Let's say that at the patient level, you have the option to collect geography of residence, like a zip code or a county, if it's important to count people by some kind of catchment area, let's say. But that's a write-in field that's provided. Let's say that all your patients come from 5 different wards in your geographic location. So I'm going to uncheck the rest of these because I don't need them. But that is a patient-level variable. It's a list type variable. And I would want to rename this to ward. So I just changed that name under rename this variable. And then next I have list option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's blacked out for some of the rows here, for the text rows and the date rows, but I have options to fill out for the list type rows. And that's because these cells are going to determine what shows up in my drop-down list that I'm creating. So for this row, I've activated it, I've renamed it, and now I'm going to put in Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3, and Ward 4, word 5. I can choose up to 5 different options for people to select from in a drop-down menu. You could put less than 5 if there are fewer than 5, but you can't put more than 5. So now that this is set up, I'm just going to show you what that looks like in the data entry side of things. So I'm back in my data, my patient data entry sheet. I have this new variable called ward, and when I click in it, I have the option to select from this upside down triangle, and I can choose word 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And that's how the list type variable works. And I can do that on any of my data entry sheets. So just to give you another example, let's maybe do a case level text type variable. So I'm going to, again, scroll down to this table and check off the box corresponding to the variable that I want to use. And then I'm going to rename this. So let's say that, even though PNBot included the option to specify an oncologist name, we don't have a field dedicated to surgeon names. So maybe I want people entering data to note that as well. So in that example, I changed this to surgeon name for case text variable number 1. And if I go to my case data entry form over here, suddenly I have a custom variable called surgeon name, and I can type in Dr. Surgeon. And it's unrestricted, so it's not a pick list. I just type it in over here. And I should also note that even though you can change the names of the variables in the data entry sheets, those names won't change in the databases. So if I go to full list of cases here, I see that I have this column called case text 1, and it's only displayed when I have that custom variable checked off for case text variable 1. So even though it says surgeon name and data entry, it'll still say case text 1 in the database over here. And that's because it's important for the variable names to be consistent for reporting purposes, and Excel just won't let you change the name here. So you can always go back to the setup sheet if you're not sure when running a report or something what case text 1 is. So in short, that's how you create new custom variables. And you can create up to 18 of them, although with a really extensive list of variables here, you may not need all 18, but you do have the option should you choose. Thanks for watching.